What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the College Loop Podcast, episode 80 of the College Loop Podcast. Getting pretty daggum close to the episode 100.
Yeah,
And
we're up there.
it's going to make it real hard to come up with titles now because now we're going to have one less character to use for the titles on YouTube.
That's right.
Yeah. Start off, Daniel. How you doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good. Good to be back. No, I didn't miss last episode. For some reason, I thought I did, but
Yeah, you were here.
yeah, I was here. We're here. It's a lovely day. Ready to talk some Auburn sports, and not about a certain pop star I'm a very big fan of.
Jesus Christ.
All right. Tarr, how you doing, buddy? You missed last episode. How you doing?
Sunburn and baseball. That's the only thing going on in my life right now. I really wish that I could have been on the Thursday show last week. We had a company outing, and I took some interns to the Atlanta United game, which was super cool. Electric draw, like game tying goal in the 96th minute in extra time. It was pretty sick. Would have loved to have been here, but teamwork's really important, and having the opportunity to really help out and teach some of these interns is a blessing. So I really have to take every advantage I can to try to learn from them and vice versa, right? So it's a balance. It's balance. But I'm super happy to be back here on the College Loop. This is our project child. So.
Well, don't worry, Tarr, because we cannot do the DB preview until you are available. That is per you. We're not allowed to talk about any corners or safeties on the show.
Yeah, I'll run my head through a wall.
But yeah, just to start off with some, I don't know if it's like breaking news, just like some pretty nice little cool news. Auburn football is now less than 250 season tickets away from their all-time record, which was in 2017, which was the year Auburn beat Alabama and Georgia at home.
Beat the crap out of both.
Yeah, I wouldn't say beat the crap out of Bama. It was like 26-14.
For an Iron Bowl that Auburn wins, I feel like that's beating the crap out of.
Well, it didn't feel like a win at the end of the game
Come on.
when Kerryon Johnson got knocked out of that game. It was a bittersweet victory.
Nails being bitten.
Yeah, and if only he didn't play that second half, let Cam Martin eat a little bit. Auburn had it in the bag, and Auburn might have been SC champs in 2017.
Coach Cam Martin?
What? Oh, yeah.
Known coaching legend.
UCF running back coach Cam Martin. Also, another cool little running back coach fact before we get into the rest of the show. Kerryon Johnson also is now the running backs coach, I think. Not running backs coach. I think he's the director of player development or something like that at UNA.
Yep.
So UNA now houses Kerryon Johnson and Deshaun Davis. So cool little tidbit.
Familiar faces in that front office for sure.
Exactly. They're filling. Auburn is UNAU in the coaching staff, one might say.
Right. That's right.
And then just to go into 24/7 sports and keep them on your brain, because we're going to keep talking about them for a little bit after our Samford preview. So keep your ears out for that. 24/7 has released their prediction for what Auburn is going to go record-wise in the year 2023, this year, the year of our Lord, 2023. They have predicted Auburn to go 7-5. And I'm just going to go through the wins in a second, but I'm also going to show that they predicted Auburn to go to the Birmingham Bowl. So you can expect the College Loop in Beeham at their local pub, maybe, where we spent our
free promo, and it's free. We're on our way back.
Where we spent our last Auburn football game as students, right? As students.
That's right.
No, not as students. Wait, we had 2022.
No, my man, that was December of 2021.
Really? God, that feels
We're that old.
I'm going to need to go to that pub tonight. Yeah, they play Memphis is where Auburn expected to finish up playing Memphis in the Birmingham Bowl. Last time those teams met, they played in the 2015 Birmingham Bowl, where Auburn won 31-10. And they beat Paxton Lynch, NFL legend, Denver Broncos legend, and known for being 6'7". But yeah, just to run through without looking at the rundown, I want y'all to guess. I don't know if y'all have already studied it or not. Guess the losses. There's 5
for Auburn. I presume.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I was about to say Samford could probably come up with a number, but let's see. For Auburn, Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Ole Miss. And Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Ole Miss. And I'm going to lock in number 5 being something stupid like Arkansas.
You got 4 out of 5. Daniel, you want to give it a crack?
I'm looking at it right now. Sorry.
Dadgum cheater. So, Tarr, you missed out on A&M. I'm messing with you. So losses are at A&M, Georgia, at LSU, at Arkansas, and of course Alabama. And leaving those wins to be UMass, at Cal, Samford, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, at Vanderbilt, and of course the hardest game on the schedule, New Mexico State.
Well, let's give 247 props where credit's due. We've always said that 24/7 was the best at predicting the Auburn Cal game. We've literally always said that, and they're just helping our case here. So,
for sure. And just to go through one of these, we've already predicted 2 of these wins to happen. We at this current point in the game-by-game preview series, Auburn is 2-0, and of course on track to go 15-0 based on our records as it stands right now.
One could assume.
But just to start the preview, Auburn is going into week 3 at home, and I think this one's a 2:30 kick or 6:30 kick, I believe.
It's a 6:30 kick, my man.
It is a 6:30 kick. It goes 2:30, 9:30, and of course 6:30. So this one you get to.
I can't wait for that 2:30 kick in September.
Yeah.
But yeah, smells like body odor and sunburn.
And a little fun fact about the Samford game: Auburn all time is 28-0-1 against the Samford Bulldogs. That one tie coming in 1927, where they came in 9-9. And the last time these two teams met, Auburn won 52-0 in 2019. Which, fun fact about that game as a whole, is where Jackson McFadden got his first career reception for 4 yards.
And in monsoon. Also, Auburn got the privilege of with the rain. This could have been a little bit of an electrical safety hazard. They plugged in the cord. Cord Sandberg got to play the entire third and half of the fourth quarter. Cord Sandberg, one of my favorite stories in the history of Auburn athletics. That's a true story. But that's just a fun little tidbit. Cord Sandberg, I think, had 2 tutties that game.
Yes, he did. I do remember that game because it's always fun when the backups get in. And nothing's better than
fun when Cord got to play. It was really fun when Cord got to play.
Oh, and especially when all first team SEC holder Jack McFadden got his first career reception. Another fun fact: so Samford is an FCS team, if you did not know. So let that build into what our prediction might be in a second. They're good FCS team. They went 11-2 last year with losses to Georgia and North Dakota State University in the quarterfinals of the FCS playoff. They lost to Georgia 33-0 to a team that went on to win their second national championship in a row.
All things considered, not that bad.
Not that bad of a loss. I think Georgia looked really bad that game. I think that was a game that I thought Stetson Bennett should have got benched after halftime just because he didn't look good against Samford.
As we finally continue.
It still beats me how he got there. I just think he was undefeated. The only player I have to watch is Samford quarterback, Michael Hires.
This is year 3 for him, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And his stats from last year: 3,500 passing yards, 36 tutties, I think 6 interceptions. I think I write it down. 77% completion percentage, rushed for 163 yards, 3 tutties on the ground. And that's the SoCon Offensive Player of the Year.
Bro might be playing in the wrong Southern Conference.
Dude,
I'm kind of half not joking, fellas.
Well, I mean, Auburn could have probably used a quarterback early on in the transfer portals. But luckily they did end up getting their guy and Peyton Thorne, who might not end up being the starter anyways by the time this game comes around. Just a little fun tidbit. Do y'all have anything on this game? This game's it's one of those hard ones to preview because FCS, you can't find anything on it anywhere.
Well, it's a buy game. When I say that, I mean, I'm not talking BYE, I'm talking BUY, where you pay a small school outside of the FBS to come essentially lose to you. And every now and then you'll see an FCS team upset an FBS team. And that's like the ultimate, holy shit, what do we do wrong here kind of moment. But this feels like an opportunity for Auburn to hang 50 to me. And that's no slight to Samford. I call a lot of Samford athletics, actually, as I work for ESPN Plus in the SoCon. No slight to them. They actually have the cream of the crop when it comes to FCS talent. But it's not the SEC. And I don't foresee this being. I don't think they get blanked. I really don't. I have a hard time believing, given the state of Samford football. I really, really don't think they get blanked. I think they'll hang 10, 13. But I like Auburn to hang 45 plus, just because it's one of those kind of we have to make a statement early in the year kind of moments for Hugh Freeze and company. So Daniel, I don't know where your head's at here, but this one feels like this could get ugly in a hurry. Probably should get ugly in a hurry, and will probably be a snooze fest of a 6:30 kick.
After the Georgia State game my freshman year, I don't look past anybody.
After the Georgia State game, that was our senior year, bro. All right, come on now.
I mean, this is a game. This is a game leading into the SEC slate. After this game, you go to College Station the very next week, and hopefully Auburn's 3-0 by the time this game is over with. Because you have UMass at Cal, and then you come back home to Samford, which is just going to be a little pickup game to get you ready for College Station. And
well, you say that. Auburn swag surfed Mercer last year. Yeah.
That's the state of the potato man.
Agreed. But also, you can't take these FCS opponents lightly. I mean, look what the Citadel did to Alabama a couple years ago. I mean, they wound up getting thumped, but going into halftime, everyone's like, what the hell is going on in Tuscaloosa? It's one of those that you can't look past it, but it also kind of always looks a little uglier than it should, just for the sole purpose of your playbook's not open yet. Mm-hmm. Auburn will open it up a good bit, probably 70% against Cal, assuming things go the way that they think it can. But until game 4, you're not going to see a wide open playbook. So
yeah,
that's something to keep in mind there, just to keep your panic reactions in check.
I mean, 2011, the year after the national championship, Samford actually put up a little bit of a fight against Auburn. It was 37-16 was that final score. So Samford can put up a fight if Auburn lets them. And the key to this game is don't let them. And I mean, Samford can. Oh yeah, Colin, I almost forgot about that one. 2021, Samford actually beat Florida 70-52. Am I right, Colin? That was Samford winning.
They lost. They lost, but they were up.
Oh, they lost.
Late.
There we go.
And Florida had to hang 70 to beat them.
Sorry, the way that private message was typed, it said Samford, Florida in 2021, 70-52. I really assumed.
That game was awesome because defense was optional in 2021 as well. So.
And that would have been the end of the Dan Mullen era, correct? That was Dan Mullen.
That would have been the last year
on his way out. Yeah, that was a great recruiting pitch for a guy who did not like to recruit from Dan Mullen. But yeah, and just to get back in the 24/7. Oh, actually, wait, I almost forgot. But yeah, do a little score predictions. Tarr, you kind of did a little time span of what you think it's going to be, but let's narrow it down a little bit.
Let's get weird. Let's go 54-13.
Daniel,
give me a nice round 45-12.
45-12. Is that 4 field goals or is that 6 safeties?
Yep.
Is that 2 touchdowns?
4 field goals.
Nope, 6 safeties. Lock that
in. Peyton Thorne and Robbie Ashford just taking a knee in the end zone. In the
rare 1-point safety comes into effect.
Dude, I want to see it so bad. I don't want to miss it when it happens. I'm gonna say a nice 55 to, let's say, 9.
I think Samford gets his double digits.
Yeah, 55, 9, maybe.
That's a W for them.
Maybe. Yeah, I think scoring points is a W. I think what they did against Georgia last year. I mean, I said I'm not a huge fan of like moral victories in football games, but when it comes to facing the Giant, and you keep them under 40, which is not something a lot of teams did last year, i.e. The one written across my forehead right now didn't do that. That's huge. And 33-0 is a pretty small margin for an FCS team to play a team who's on the top of the sport right now.
Sure.
As much pain as that brings for me to say that every time it has to come up. But just to go back to 24/7, a little bit of recruiting going on. And let's start off with Auburn getting their first 5-star recruit of the 2024 class in Keaton McNutt, the number 4 long snapper in the country. That means Auburn now has 2 of the best long snappers in the country. One is the number 4. The other one is a 4.5-star. I believe 12 is where I got that. J.R. Buckner.
He's got to get an NIL deal from McDonald's.
Dude, that's That's the funniest thing you've ever said.
I'm telling y'all right now, I'm going to say this on the show. Colin may have to cut it. I really don't give a shit. I would go to the McDonald's in Auburn and order the McNutt.
Oh, dear God. Sorry, J.R. Buckner is the 17th ranked long snapper in the country at 4.5 stars. And you pick up a guy who, based on Cole's kicking, if you don't know what Cole's kicking is, go look it up. It's actually where they rank these positions like kickers, punters, and long snappers. Keaton McNutt has been labeled as best and most consistent long snapper in America, a polished snapper who has worked extremely hard to get to himself to this point. Charted extremely well during the Cole's Southern Showcase by scoring on all but one of his charted long snaps with an average snap of 0.68 seconds.
Oh, it was so close.
He rips the ball with clean rotation and was dialed in during the live portion of camp. McNutt is without a doubt a Power 5 snapper and one of the better individuals you will meet. The future is bright for this young man and will be an asset for any program in the country.
I played some long snap back in the day.
This jersey's going to sell.
Dude, and he also has one of the best people to learn under, too, Jacob Quattlebaum.
True.
Auburn, so you have J.R. Buckner coming in, Keaton McNutt, both to come in and learn from Jacob Quattlebaum.
No, I mean, you're in great shape. I'm just saying this jersey's going to sell.
You know, I don't care about being running back you. I don't care about being quarterback you. But you know what I do care about? Being Long Snapper University. That's what I care about.
And placeholder university, that's not.
And placeholder university. Can't forget the two most important positions on any football team, especially 2018 LSU.
Yeah, right. Let's talk about 4-star athlete Jalewis Solomon and his decision to list Auburn in his top 5. I mean, first let me kind of rope it back in. I'm going to lead this here, and Dylan, I'm going to let you grab this. I just kind of want to rope it back in for a second. The fact that we're having constant conversations about 4-star, 5-star, even high 3-star battles with Auburn in the top 5, top 10. Wow. Refreshing. This is nice. Like Auburn fans, you just breathe in that breath of fresh air and don't exhale because you want to enjoy it as long as you can. So Dylan, talk to me a little bit about Jalewis Solomon.
Yeah, so he's a 4-star athlete, and based on what I've heard about him from Wesley McGriff, the DB's coach, he is wanting him to play defensive back, cornerback, 6'1", 185. He plays both wide receiver and corner. I think he caught like 1,000. He had 1,000 receiving yards last season, and also getting like 3 or 4 interceptions, I think. But talented player is going to be a huge pickup if he were to come to Auburn. From my understanding, I think Florida State is up there with Auburn as the team to beat. I think it's 1A, 1B.
Why does that keep happening?
Florida State.
Is Norvell that good of a recruiter?
Yes.
Yes, he is.
I'm not getting hostile. I'm not.
No, you actually are. No,
he was really good at Oregon.
Yeah, I'm not disputing that. It's just Norvell has pleasantly surprised me in the past couple of years at FSU, as in terms of how I've been impressed with their kind of uptick, because he was really on the hot seat for a second there.
And then he beat LSU, and then now I think Florida State is one of those teams that you can kind of bet on to be the winner of the ACC and possibly a dark horse for the college football playoff this year. And you can't sleep on that quarterback as well. It could be a Heisman dark horse as well.
I'm not entirely sure about betting on them to win the ACC, but all this to say, another great pickup at DB for Auburn. And then if you look at the fact that he has experience on both sides of the ball, I always look at it this way: it's impossible to know the tendencies of a wide receiver as well as someone that can play both ways. I'm a huge believer of that. Like I hope my kids never have to play both ways. If they play football, they're not going to have the build because they're looking at their genetic blueprint not great for them. But
I don't have to worry about that.
Anyways, I'm a huge believer of if you play both ways, you actually bring a lot to the table because you understand on a deeper level, like just football IQ, right? And that's something that's super, super valuable. And a guy that you can plug and play kind of wherever you need. You know, if someone goes down on injury and you flip on the other side of the ball, you never want to do that at the collegiate level, but you can. And you feel comfortable in them being able to compete at least an average or right there at average level, given this level of talent. It's just a weapon. And then you also have the guy you can bring in and go, okay, we think he's going to play here, but we can plug him in a couple different scenarios. We offer him for this position, but there's always the world where, shit hits the fan and we need him to take snaps elsewhere. and you can. I mean, that's the kind of guys that you want to be able to get to where that's a luxury. You kind of just have that reserve. Does that make sense? You want them to get meaningful snaps and be starters and progress in their specific positions. But a true asset, when you bring in guys that can play a lot of skill positions, your team gets inherently better because they can also make the guys they're going up against in practice better.
Yeah, and not only just play both sides of the ball, but to play both sides of the ball like extremely well is a huge, huge pickup. And I don't know if he's announced where he's or when he's going to announce his pick. I know we've had a couple of guys who said June 30th is where they're going to be making their pick. Jacon McCroy has also announced he's going to be announcing his team on June 30th. The 6'8" offensive tackle, who sadly I'm starting to believe is an Oregon lock.
Yeah.
So not Georgia, but a Georgia coaching alum, stealing a top target from the Auburn Tigers.
Yeah, Dan Lanning.
Something that hurts every time it happens.
Let's talk about something that doesn't hurt as much. Let's talk about Phoenix City.
Oh, do I love Central Phoenix City, especially when Auburn is actively recruiting from it. And
known Red Devil fans, I'm going to pretend like this is the Devil Horn thing.
Cameron Coleman. If you don't know his name, get to knowing it. He is the number 1 overall player in the state of Alabama, the number 4 overall wide receiver in the entire country. He is a 5-star wide receiver, and on 3, currently I say predicted to pick the Auburn Tigers. And being the number 1 player in the state of Alabama, I just want everyone to know Auburn's gotten real close. They've gotten the 2nd best player, 3rd best player. They've had the number 1 player in the country all the way up until signing day. One of them being George Pickens, the other one being Reuben Foster. First one to come to mind. Reuben Foster played at Alabama for 3 or 4 years with a giant Auburn sign on his arm. So that's cool. The last time Auburn got the number 1 player in the state of Alabama was 2007 with Michael McNeil. And I'm fairly certain that he was decent. I don't think he was like all that great. But you got Bo Nix throughout the years was like number 3 player. I think it was the most recent Auburn's been like up there. 2018 though, I think 2018 was the class I looked at. I think Auburn like popped off in the top 10 of Alabama. But overall, if Hugh Freeze gets Cameron Coleman, oh boy.
Yeah. Buckle up.
Because recruiting is hot and it's early, but you start making a little bit of assumption on who the better recruiter is between Hugh Freeze and the last 2 coaches that Auburn has had. But
it's really a 2-horse race. But yep, continue.
I mean, true, but it's better to be the first out of 3 than just being the first out of 2. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And you know what? It's time to bring the intern on. Tarr, you want to start off the jingle?
Oh, I'm so ready. It's Bagman time?
It's Bagman time.
Oh my gosh. It's time for In His Bag.
In his bag.
In his bag with
Beiersdorf.
Come on up here, Colin.
How's it going, y'all?
Hey,
going
never
all
better
right.
than seeing your face.
Oh, hell yeah.
Colin, let us all know who is in their bag right now.
Okay, so in his bag, former Auburn player today, it's Caleb Kim making his reality TV debut on The Bachelorette tonight.
I mean, I have not. Okay, so full disclosure, after we record this, I'm going to watch The Bachelorette. I need someone to give me the whole breakdown. And I know, Dylan, you made a really cheesy graphic, and I need to see it. I need to see it right now.
And with the Caleb Kim in the bag, man, we are going to start the first segment of hopefully many down the line. The College Eloped. Welcome to the first installment of the College Eloped. We are going to be following Caleb Kim throughout his journey to get Charity to be the one on The Bachelorette, season 20 of The Bachelorette.
This is awesome.
Yeah, Caleb Kim killed it. He owned every shot he had on camera. When you saw him, you knew he held the power in his hand. He killed it.
So explain to me, Colin, what exactly did Caleb Kim do?
So he did a really good job. We got to see him because he was tall. So they broadcasted his height.
Oh, good.
But they didn't broadcast much of anything else about him. He said one word the entire episode, and it was Charity, the Bachelorette's name. So He's big balling. He got the rose.
He was the
Got
last.
that Auburn connection. It's all you need.
He was one of the last 5 people to get the rose.
Yeah,
Explain the rose to me in like football terms.
Okay, in
All right.
football terms.
All right, so
Ooh.
it's like picking a captain. You
Okay.
you go through and you're like you got like a set number of players and you're like, hey, you're a captain, and you get to the last 2 seniors, and you have 1 captain badge left.
Okay.
And you gotta pick one.
I get it now. I'm on the same way.
Yeah, and Colin, you didn't do it justice. As soon as he showed up on the screen, he talked. Now, the first time you see him is the first time he talked, and is also the last time he talked, because he hit you with a charity, and that was it. Did not say a word the rest of the episode. Had I think maybe
He's that in his bag that he didn't even speak.
Dude,
Listen, and he still got the rose.
I mean that feels like MVP numbers.
He doesn't even need to talk to the girl. 1 word, all he needs.
Efficiency numbers are unbelievable.
Yeah, the best efficiency of any Auburn player you'll ever see.
You can't coach that.
He is the key role player. He's like I don't want to say Brian Scalabrine of the team. He's like doesn't get the recognition he deserves, but he got the ring anyways. And hopefully we'll see later on down the road Caleb Kim getting a ring for charity. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But I think all in all, he had maybe 15 seconds of screen time.
That if Caleb Kim wins this, that is an Auburn championship, right?
Oh, for sure.
Like,
Put it in the rafters. Yes.
Okay. As long as we all understand that we're hanging the banner, the Bachelorette banner. We almost had the Bachelor banner a few years ago, but Matty Pruitt knew that Pilot Pete was a jackass.
Didn't know basketball.
And we did have that horrible scene of them making out on the floor at the Neville Arena, but that's neither here nor there.
That's not reminiscent of the bad seasons. This is a new season of the Bachelorette.
The ultimate Auburn approach.
This is Auburn trying to get hitched with Auburn. And now, if they deprive me of an Auburn date episode where they kiss in front of the lathe, I'll be upset.
Well, Auburn fans, go ahead and shield your ears because I'm probably going to offend you for a second here. But how hilarious would it be if I assume that it's like a battle royale kind of deal, like, you know what I mean, like
basically, yeah,
you know what I mean, like I assume. So, well, how funny would it be if like Kim makes it to like the second to last episode, and just chokes?
Just chill out there. Just chill out. It's pain. I'm already doing a lot of pain.
Or he peaks too early in the season of The Bachelorette.
I also want to let everybody know I have never watched The Bachelor. I've never watched The Bachelor.
I haven't either.
This is the first episode where I have been actually watching it, and with Caleb Kim being involved, I treat it like a football game. Like in the last 3 seconds, the kicker's lined up. I'm like standing up, squatted down, waiting. I was like, "Are they going to give it to him? Are they going to give it to him?" And then Charity finally goes, "There's 3 Calebs on the show, by the way," and she said,
"It is
Caleb
horrible,
A,
right?
Caleb
like,
B," and then
horrible,
like,
right?
huh?
The show is horrible, right?
Oh, it's not fun to watch.
Okay.
But at the end, it's like the fun part because they're all tense. And then you're just like, she goes, Caleb A, Caleb S.
It's like watching Big Ten football.
Yeah. And then you're like sitting there waiting. There's 4 roses left on the table. And then she goes, Caleb K. And then I threw my laptop to the side, stood up and go, let's go. I just feel like I just won the biggest game of my life.
All right. So this season's going to run about 6, 7, 8 weeks, right?
I have no idea.
Probably more.
Probably more than that. Okay, so let's all make a pact that we will do a live watch party with everyone on YouTube if Caleb Kim makes it to like the last few episodes.
Oh,
easy, 100%. That'd be so fun.
I'd be down. I'd be really down. Just some dude. We'll get some like white wine. Just like 4 dudes just watching The Bachelorette. No worries.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Colin, I'll let you go ahead and go back to your deep dark depths.
Wait, not before I compliment his mustache on live air. I love the mustache. Keep it.
Oh yeah. Well, it's coming along. We'll see what happens.
I think you never look better. All right. See you.
Hell yeah.
All
right. I'll see you boys.
See ya. Oh, everyone, this has been the first and last installment of the College Elope. Now back to the College Loop podcast.
It's simply not the last installment, by the way. It's just not happening.
Are we just gonna watch every Bachelor and Bachelorette season? Just do this?
Oh, you mean this year? is going to be the only installment.
Well, until we get another Auburn player or Auburn person.
Yeah, no, I'm
involved.
with you. We're on the same wave. All right, continue.
Yeah, just a little schedule update. We're going to be moving the position by position breakdown to the Sunday episode. And Thursday, we're going to start with something a little spicy. We're calling it Theoretical Thursdays. We're going to be looking at different timelines that Auburn football, basketball, baseball could have gone in at any given time. Where could the Auburn Tigers have been had Joseph Gonzalez not got hurt this year? Those are going to be kind of the episodes you're going to get from us on Thursdays, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to get hopefully a lot of engagement because I think a lot of people have different pathways that each thing could go.
Sure, I'm with you. I'm pumped. I'm really excited.
Yeah. But yeah, that ends the football segment. And Tarr, I'm gonna let you do your little transition to the basketball.
Yeah, let's flip over to the hardwood. We've got our 2023 and 2024 SEC home and away opponents. Home and homes. So teams you'll play a series with, you could either sweep, get swept, split, whatever. Alabama, Georgia, we're used to that. Ole Miss, we're pretty used to that. Mississippi State, that one's been kind of a constant in years past. And then Vanderbilt this year. Excuse me, let me try that again. Just home opponents. UK, LSU, South Carolina, Texas A&M. Away opponents and strictly away. Arkansas, Florida, Missouri, and Tennessee. Okay, guys, just initial reaction. Where are we at circling games? We don't have a schedule. I get that. But what games are we circling, whether that be for whatever reason? Daniel, what you got?
Well, I just first kind of want to propose a thing that I'm going to be taking live betting odds on. I went to the Auburn-Tennessee road game my freshman year, vowed I was never going back to Knoxville. I went to the Auburn-Tennessee road game my sophomore year, vowed I was never going back to Knoxville. Will I make the trip my junior year? You tell me.
Yeah, you will.
He's going to be.
All right.
You will. I will not. I'll let you have all the fun in the world. Don't show my fandom a ton on here, like in an extroverted way. I freaking hate Tennessee basketball fans. They're the worst. They're the absolute worst. I mean, they're horrible. And Knoxville's a dump. So there's that. Any Tennessee fans that are getting pissed off that are happening somewhere across the college loop, welcome to the loop, baby. Your town sucks. It literally smells bad. Well, that is actually a good segue, though, Dylan. I have the Tennessee road game schedule for this year.
Yeah.
That's going to wind up being a big one. You've got to win at home. I mean, we know this. You've got to take care of your business against Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt. Yeah, that group right there, you've got to win against. South Carolina, you've got to take care of business against. LSU, Kentucky, and A&M are your two leadway home losses, in my opinion. You're going to have some leadway. You want to beat Kentucky at home. I have a very high expectation for UK this year. They recruited really well. They retained a lot of people. They're going to be a solid program. The Alabama road game, you want to kind of capitalize on what I think is going to be a down year for Alabama. That's important. But Tennessee is one of those. Arkansas is one of those. I think the Hogs are going to be front runners for the SEC this year. I think that it's going to wind up being Arkansas, UK, Auburn, and Tennessee. I think it's going to how that's going to shake out. I would not be surprised if Texas A&M is in that mix. I'm just throwing that out there as well. So that all that to say, I think that you're circling away. You're circling Tennessee and Arkansas. At home, it's just a giant highlighter streak of winning all your home games. But most importantly, Kentucky, Alabama, and A&M. I mean, that's just so important. If you had to travel to A&M, I'd be like, yeah, okay, you little way there, but you've got to take care of business. Buzz is literally a buzzsaw for Auburn basketball teams.
Yeah, I think Auburn is now on a 4-game losing streak to the Texas A&M Aggies, I believe, 4 or 5, 4. And you cannot speak on how lucky Auburn is to not have to play them twice this year.
100%. It's
only 3, by the way.
Is
Sorry,
it only
not to be that guy, but it's only 3.
Are we counting the SEC tournament loss?
Yes.
And the final loss from 2021?
We only played them once in 2021, 2022.
2021, Auburn lost to them in the SEC tournament. And they got
that was 2022.
In the 2022 SEC tournament?
So in the 2021-2022 season, they played 2 times. They played in Auburn on College Game Day, and Auburn won. Then they played in the SEC tournament, and A&M won. Then they played them twice in the 2022-2023 season and lost both. It is a 3-game losing streak.
I thought Auburn played them 3 times this year.
We played Arkansas in the SEC tournament this year.
Thank you. There it is. 3-game losing streak to Buzz Williams. But regardless, that team gives them fits.
Yes.
And Texas A&M is just a team you just got to beat, and you got to snap that. Thank you, Colin, for reassuring that it is, in fact, 3. My math was incorrect, but it does feel like it has been forever and a day since Auburn has – I mean, it's been over a calendar year and a half since Auburn has beaten Texas A&M. That's just not going to cut it. Dylan, Daniel, interested to get your thoughts on other games that you want to circle for the 2023, 2024 slate.
Obviously, anytime you have Kentucky, that's big. I still expect LSU to be down, so
Sure.
that should be a relatively doable game. You got to beat Alabama at home. You got to beat Georgia at home. Ole Miss, I know it's a new era with Chris Beard and Wes Flanagan, and Alan Flanagan for that matter. I don't really think that's going to be much of an issue. Mississippi State basketball is the living, walking embodiment of the word mid.
Correct.
So I'm not concerned about that.
Very losable road game. Very losable road game.
You're not wrong. Same thing with Vanderbilt. That gym is weird. It smells like chicken. And it's hot in there. There's no AC.
Everything about Vanderbilt basketball when you have to play there is weird. There's nothing that ever goes normal in those games.
There's no AC.
The whole Coach K treatment. But no, you're right. Everything about Vanderbilt screams, you can come here and die. Like that.
Sure.
That is 100% correct.
As far as the 4 road-only opponents, I think Auburn's going to go up to Columbia and take care of Missouri. Arkansas, I'm checking that away as a loss. Florida, we'll see.
That's where
Tennessee.
That's where Auburn teams go to die as well.
Yeah, and Thompson Bowling Arena hasn't been good to me, and consequently, I don't think it's going to be good for the Auburn Tigers whenever they play there.
And they've got a Bruce Pearl disciple that knows how he does things.
Yes.
That Florida hire was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Golden's a guy.
Yeah. But I think as a journalist, Ole Miss is definitely the best storyline going into both those games.
Sure.
Because you got the revenge game? Not revenge game for Wes Flanagan, I would say. But no. Just a little.
The path of the apprentice faces the master.
Yes. Bruce Pearl starting off his disciplement chain.
2 Bruce Pearl disciples in the SEC now.
People are saying Bruce Pearl is the Nick Saban of basketball.
There are people.
But the game I think is the most important on here is I could say Bama. I could say Kentucky. I could say Tennessee. I could say Arkansas. I think it's Texas A&M all the way.
100%.
Bruce Pearl has to prove that he can beat Buzz, and he has to get consistent at it.
Yeah.
Arkansas, that is a scary place to play.
It's another place Auburn teams go to die.
It's a lot of place Auburn players have to be worried about, because if Arkansas were to win that game, they're storming the court. That's true. That's facts. It happens.
You're
It happened last time. But it is going to be fun to see what this Auburn team can do with this whole new lineup coming in. Denver Jones, Aiden Holloway, Janiah Broom is back, Jay Will's back, Chaney Williams is looking like the truth in practice.
Fellas, I don't know about y'all. I feel a whole lot better about this roster construction now than I did a month ago.
Oh, for sure. I think I feel a little bit better about this roster than I did last year's roster.
Oh, confidently.
A lot better.
A lot, without a doubt. And the slate, in terms of talent around the SEC, there's a ton of basketball talent. It's going to be an easier year this year, in my opinion. And it's going to be super, super top heavy. The SEC is going to be kind of, like I said, a 4-horse race. And I think we'll see that come along pretty quickly. I think that Texas A&M will be kind of in that no man's land between the powerhouses of the SEC and kind of the rest of the pack that's kind of all fighting for whatever that is, plus Mike White, whoever the hell he's doing in Georgia. And then you've got those 4, but it's going to be super top heavy. But I think if you capitalize on the bottom half of your schedule, you're going to lose some dumb games. It happens every single year to every single team. If you can minimize your dumb losses and take care of business in large of what you need to take care of your slate, I mean, guys, the SEC champion may have 5 SEC losses, like 5 or 6 SEC losses. That might happen.
Mm-hmm. While we're here, since we have a minute or 2 to spare, if you guys don't mind, since we have minus our ACC opponent in the brand new SEC ACC challenge, which non-con opponent do you think poses the most threat? And I mean, I think it's Indiana for me.
SoCal.
Southern California.
Okay, all right.
And that's not just because of
Look at Bronny James. That's right.
It's not just because of Bronny James. Bronny James is playing in Auburn this year, which I don't know how no one's talking about that yet.
That's why I brought
That
it
game
up.
is probably already sold out.
It's not because tickets aren't on sale yet. As soon as they do, I will be buying some. Anyways,
You better be there at 11:59 a.m. waiting for it.
don't worry, I will be. Anyways, I think it's USC. Indiana's a fantastic program, and they're really on the uptick right now. And that's not an easy game. I mean, Auburn's got a tough knock-on slate this year that we know of for certain. USC is a complete roster this year for the first time in several years. I mean, they have got pieces that I didn't foresee retaining. And the height-wise, they match up well with Auburn. We saw that this past year when Auburn went and lost in LA. And there's this whole new level of hype around USC now that Bronny is there. There is the element of that. You cannot ignore it. And Bronny's a hell of a basketball player. There's a lot riding there. Your big favor is that Auburn is at home and that you're playing at Neville Arena. If you were going to USC, I would already chalk that one up as a loss.
Yeah.
I do think USC is going to wind up being the premier team in Pac-12 this year. And yes, I'm saying that with the full knowledge that UCLA is still very much alive and well.
Yeah, because like Arizona's I think Arizona's kind of a down year.
Arizona's going to be on a downside this year.
Sorry to cut you off, but
no, you're fine. I'll go ahead and say this too, just for shits and giggles. I don't know that it's crazy to think that USC could sweep UCLA for the first time in I don't know how long this year, because UCLA is missing some pieces that are not returning. They're still going to be very good, but that team in LA, man, they're going to make some noise this year, and that's, I think, unequivocally the toughest opponent for Auburn in non-con. Outside of that, Indiana for sure, and we'll see who Auburn draws in the SEC championship.
Before we move on to baseball, Tarr, I just want to let you know I looked at the NBA mock draft for next year's draft, and Bronny James should get drafted at like 16 to the Atlanta Hawks, which would ultimately bring LeBron James to Atlanta as well. So I know that would bring you a little bit of joy going into this season, and you got to hope Bronny James doesn't impress too much going into the NBA draft.
So, that's neither here nor there. This is not a Bronny James podcast. We are not ESPN. We will not be meat writing.
Hey, if we say Bronny James enough, we'll get put on YouTube like homepages all over the place.
You're probably right. We're not going to, but we could. I'm very excited for that game. The energy is going to be rocking.
Oh, dude, it's going to be packed.
Do we have time for one more very quick basketball question?
Go for it.
Who's your prediction for your who is your prediction for Auburn's ACC opponent?
I have no idea. If they're going to go top to bottom in terms of what makes the most sense from a year ago,
Miami,
top heavy. No, probably not Miami. Probably Syracuse.
Oof.
Probably Syracuse.
Orange versus orange jerseys, please. Orange versus
let's
orange.
Make it happen. Let's just make it happen. Who would I like to see Auburn play? Given to Duke or North Carolina, new blood versus blue blood, right?
I'm predicting
blue blood meaning Virginia. Auburn, blue blood meaning North Carolina.
Predicting UVA.
Yep.
Oh, good God.
Yeah.
If Auburn draws UVA and UVA has to come to Neville Arena, pray for the safety of that organization. Auburn fans are not a violent group. I'm talking about their mental sanity. They might want to bring some psychiatrists with them.
Yeah, it's crazy. Bringing in a team that definitely double dribbled.
I'll go a step further. I'll go a step further with that before we talk about our I think we're going fan question next, which is super.
We're going baseball.
Baseball, okay.
We're wrapping up with the fan question. Thank you, Gloria.
I'll go here and then I'll take us over to baseball, Dylan. If Auburn draws UVA and UVA has to play at Neville Arena, that average ticket cost will be double anything that for the rest of the season, whether that be UK or Alabama, it won't be close. And that includes Bronny James coming.
They better ask for a neutral site game if they play Auburn.
Yeah, you might want to be asking if not even the State Farm Arena is not safe. Like you might want to see if you could play wherever the Charlotte Hornets like that.
Spectrum Center.
Yeah, there you go, Spectrum Center. Let's talk baseball and kind of go through some motions there. Edouard Julien, number 70 prospect in all of baseball. I'll talk about shit that I didn't have on my bingo board, but there it is. Good for him. No, I mean he's been great for the Minnesota Pipeline and great at the big league level. Ryan Bliss, a 2023 Sirius XM All-Star Futures Game berth. He's been tearing it up out in Amarillo, which oddly enough, like I have a couple friends that work for that organization. They're like, "Do you know this guy?" I'm like, "I don't personally, but I got to watch him tear it up in college because that guy's awesome." And they're like, "Did you know that he's a really good player?" I was like, "Yeah, no, I knew. Like we have known.
We all knew.
We've known Ryan Bliss is special for a really good time, a really long time." Wanted to mention my little spin zone, by the way. Congratulations to LSU Tigers. SEC baseball just means more. Every time I make an SEC homer claim, boys, I've been backed up. That's like the only thing that's been backed up for all my takes all year. That just goes to show how good SEC baseball was, how good LSU was. Transitive Property says Auburn's national champions, by the way.
Yeah, if you were not around, Auburn gentlemen swept LSU.
If you look at our run, that happened.
And Auburn also run ruled the national champion.
So, hang the banner.
So down.
Yeah, that's all. That's all I have.
It's gonna look great on the official Green Monster. On the Green Monster, it's gonna look great.
That's right.
It's just 2022 or 2023 national champion because we beat LSU.
Yeah,
Two
that's fine.
games.
That's fine. I'm fine with that. You can Red Sox Nation all you want. I don't really care. I'm not the one picking beef about the Green Monster. I'm 100% fine with the Transitive Property. Also,
I love math.
My little work squad that nobody cares about is an Ole Miss alum, LSU alum, and an Auburn alum between the three of us. So making bacon logic tells us Ole Miss in 22, LSU in 23. Just saying. Making bacon logic, it's right there.
I care.
So thank you, Daniel. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
You follow my science, don't you, Dylan?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
You see the formula.
I'm all for it.
I figured
whatever it takes. I will find any loophole I can.
I mean, we're the spin zone kings here. So
if Auburn makes it to Omaha next year, I propose that the College Loop goes out there and does an episode live from Rocco's. We've got to.
That was probably the plan this year if things had gone a little bit different.
Yeah, no, that's no questions asked.
But you say you're king of the spin zones. I'm going to spin zone it to softball, where 2 Auburn transfers have announced their destination. Starting off with Jessie Blaine announcing her transfer to Mississippi State. And, of course,
State, yes.
What?
Mississippi State, yes.
Okay. And Denver Bryant, of course, going to South Carolina, it's tough that 4 players transferred, 3 of them stayed in conference, and the other one went to the team that ended the season for the Auburn Tigers. But I will shout out Denver Bryant because I want to play it. I got to play this clip because she's the reason that this clip exists, and here it is. Walk off. As your first time hearing that, that is me actively getting excited for I think it was a Denver Bryant single that led Auburn to a walk-off over the Missouri Tigers. So shout out Denver Bryant, one of my favorite players to ever watch play Auburn softball.
Denver Bryant's going to rock out in South Carolina, no problem. Mississippi State needs to just do some kind of happy dance that they got Jessie Blaine. What a pickup for them. I mean, they are kind of in the trenches right now, and I'm wishing her all the success. Absolutely cheering a fan of Jessie's for a long time. Interesting transfer move. I'm not here to speculate. Wherever the best fit for you is best fit for you. That is a metaphorical and literal home run for them. That is an awesome pickup for Mississippi State, and a pretty shitty loss for Auburn.
I will say Auburn did a good job of replacing both Jessie Blaine and Aspen Godwin by picking up Amelia Lech and Anna Wohlers from the transfer portal. The number 2 and number 4 catcher in the transfer portal. So huge pickup for the Auburn Tigers for them, and wishing the best of luck to all the Auburn Tigers that have left the program, whether that be for Carly McConaughey and Maya Engelkeith, who are going into their careers, and Bree Ellis in Arkansas, and Lindsey Garcia at Clemson, even though I don't care for Clemson's fans very much.
It's so funny that you said going into their careers. It's so weird to say that for some sports, isn't it? It's so odd.
Yeah.
There's a young man that plays for Florida. I was watching the College World Series yesterday, and this is super applicable and makes I think relevant to everything, and makes everything human. They were talking about this young man has accepted a job with a sports agency firm doing marketing for them, and had told everyone this is it. I'm done with baseball after this. And some people think he could have been drafted late round, and he said I'm at peace with it. And then they were asking him if his teammates were going to be some of his first clients, some of the guys that are going to the big leagues. And I was like, wow, man, like it is really weird sometimes. We forget this. Like these kids are going to get college degrees and get jobs. Like so many of them don't go play professional ball. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's just super, super weird for us to be like, oh, yeah, I forgot you went to class.
Well, if you don't remember, Anders Carlson took a job with, I think, Delta Airlines before he came back for another year. Now he's the Green Bay Packers. I think he's the Green Bay Packers starting.
As did Nick Roms.
Exactly. But I mean, yeah, that is a lot. It's weird to think about whenever you're like, dang, these people will actually like go out and get jobs after cranking home runs over the wall. Like,
I just thought that was kind of a cool story. Like they played the little interview bit with him, and he's like, yeah, no, I'm totally at peace with it. Like this has been an awesome run. I got to go to the College World Series in my last game, win or lose, whatever. Obviously, Florida winds up losing to LSU. But him saying, yeah, I mean, like I start work on July 1st. I was like, dude, what? Like, my man is trading in the cleats for his, business casual and happy hour. Like, this is crazy.
That reminds me of NCAA 14. Whenever you have like a dude that you've like won all these awards with, and all this stuff, he's like 99 overall. You're like, oh, this guy's going number 1 in the draft, and you're like headcanon, like you already have it all planned out where he's going, and then it says, like you scroll through declared players, and you like he's not up there, and you scroll to the bottom, and it's like whatever's like first name, last name, 99 overall, linebacker, graduation. You're like,
yeah,
what? I always like hire them headcanon to be like, oh, that's my linebackers coach next year. Then there he is, because they're like, what, dude? But with that, we're gonna go to our fan question. And Gregorio, I gotta say, dude, I love you so much. You make my job so easy when you keep hitting us with bangers like this. I'm going to throw it up on the screen. At Gregorio Duran, 3355, hitting us with a what's y'all's favorite I'm him moment from this past year in all sports. And it's worth mentioning his was a great answer. Maddie Pinta shutting down all runners and saying, I'm Maddie Pinta. I'm sorry, but I am. Which he stole my answer, but I'm going to let him have it. Because I found another one. But Tarr, I'll let you start it off.
Darion Goborn's last routine as a senior. That was a how do I phrase this? Surreal one as a spectator. Like to be completely candid, like kind of emotional reflecting about it. I mean, there were tears from a lot of people, like happy tears. Our last routine at Neville Arena, Auburn already won the meet. It's over. It doesn't matter. And Darion just goes out and just does what Darion does, walks off the mat like the badass that she is. And we're all sobbing. There's in the best way, like, holy, wow, she was her entire career. And my favorite thing about Darion Goborn, who's quite possibly, if not my favorite Auburn athlete of all time, next to my man Owen Papo, one of my favorite Auburn athletes of all time. Just her walking off with the same confidence that she walked out on the mat every single night. Walking out to God Save the Queen, her senior year was pretty damn hard. That was pretty damn cool. And I think that was my I'm her moment. Like, wow.
And that also helped my girlfriend fall in love with the gymnastics too, because she went absolutely ballistic. She's a supposed Georgia fan, by the way, and she went ballistic when Darion Goborn walked out to God Save the Queen. And Tarr was there. He saw it.
I was also screaming like a little girl.
Yeah, and it's gonna go crazy whenever she places a crown on her head when she wins every WWE match she is in ever. Daniel, what is your favorite I'm him moment from this past year?
So I had to think kind of hard about this because I didn't want to take Gregorio's, and then the one you said was, yours, Dylan, was in my mind as well. But after thinking on it throughout the episode, this just kind of makes me laugh. Before John Cohen had likely unpacked a single box in his office, kicking Brian Harsin out of Auburn.
No, that's a great answer. That is a fantastic answer.
I wish I thought of it. That's awesome. Oh, my God.
Colin, can you please quote graphic me for that one? I never get quote graphic. Please, this one time I'm asking.
That one's getting quote graphic.
Oh, yeah, that's happening.
I'm going to throw
write
it
it
down. Dylan, before you go, I'm going to throw in an honorable mention because yours is good. Cadillac Williams.
Yes.
Texas A&M. Yep.
Texas A&M. And
Let's go play ball.
Let's go play ball was one of the most badass. I mean, that is like, as a fan, emotional on so many levels. Guys, that was one of the, in my experience as being an Auburn fan, or being in the Auburn community since 2015, 16, that was the most passionate and emotional moment I have probably ever experienced as in Auburn, Alabama, in the athletic realm. I shouldn't say passionate and emotional experience in Auburn, Alabama, period. I did meet a lot of my life there, so hopefully she doesn't hear that. But that was one of those, oh my God. Like, this guy doesn't realize how him he is, but he is him.
Yeah, for all moments in my Auburn fan career that I've cried watching an Auburn game, I have never had the opportunity to cry about winning the 4th game of the season in week 10.
And it was awesome.
But when Cadillac came up for his post-game interview, my whole entire house was quiet because we had just, look what this dude just did to this team in a matter of 2 weeks. And the way you can just tell how much he loves Auburn. That moment always be with me. And I think Cadillac is in that group. If I had a Mount Rushmore, people who could like tell me to run through a brick wall and I would go do it. Cadillac, Takeo Spikes, Tim Tebow, and Ray Lewis are all in that group of people. Because if you've ever played Madden 13, or I think it's Madden 13, Madden 25, the one with Ray Lewis at the beginning, that speech at the beginning of that Madden game, dude, I was winning every game by 60. I was like, I'm not giving up a point.
All right, Dylan, your favorite I'm him moment.
My favorite I'm him moment, and let everyone know, y'all picked Daniel's. Wasn't a game, but it was a huge W. Tarr, you picked a winning match for yours too. It was a great moment too. Just remember, this is a moment, not the game, not how the game ended, but a moment in the game. So the first drive of the Penn State game, ending doesn't matter. I'm talking about the moment. Just cannot emphasize that enough. Owen Papo coming up and laying the hammer down on Penn State, causing a fumble. I just blanked on his name. Why did I?
Sean Clifford.
Sean Clifford. I don't know how I forgot his name. He's been playing for 37 years. But Owen Papo just laid Sean Clifford out, forced the fumble, set the tone for the first 2 minutes of the game. Then everyone, coaching reasons aside, the game did not go in anyone's favor that was wearing orange and blue.
There was a meme from that said Sean Clifford just got big red dogged.
That's awesome.
Well, after that hit, something awoke in Sean Clifford because he played like the best quarterback that played the best game at quarterback that he's ever played in his career.
That reminds me. Are y'all familiar with Adam Britteman?
No.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So basically, Tarr, he's a former Penn State tight end. He has a podcast. Former Power 5 tight ends coach as well. He had an episode with Drew. Dylan, help me out.
Aller.
Yeah. Penn State's next quarterback. He was the backup
their championship quarterback that's coming up.
Yeah. And he Adam asked him about Sean Clifford, and he said, dude, in the Auburn game, like when I knew this guy was a dude, is when he got up from that hit and said, all right, we're winning this fucking game. Dang it, Dan, quit cussing.
That's a direct quote. I'm okay with that one.
Okay.
Colin, before we end the show, do you have an I'm him moment at all? Why don't you come back up here? If you have said moment.
Yeah, I would have just talked about the Cadillac Texas A&M game. That was my craziest Auburn experience, period. I was lucky enough to be down there on the field and just having him run past, high-fiving everyone in the student section. I don't think for me there's another Auburn memory that tops that. Just seeing how unified the student body was in that moment and that we'd all just come together.
Yeah, it was special.
In that moment, he truly was him.
I mean, he still is him.
We were all behind the whole, if we can't get the guy that we want, I am A-okay with keeping Cadillac around as the head coach.
Yeah.
And you know, one of my favorite things about him, if you were to tell him he's him, he'd be like, I'm not him. Everyone else is him. I'm not him.
Yeah. Which is why he's him.
Right.
He's an S-tier dude, an S-tier player. He was an S-tier coach, is an S-tier coach. Just he is Auburn through and through. I don't think anyone – there's very few people that actually like – you're like, that's an Auburn creed man right there.
Right.
Cadillac Williams is the definition of the Auburn creed, and I cannot stress. I love that this show is now ending with Cadillac Williams getting the respect that he deserves, earned, is getting, always going to get, because that is an Auburn man through and through, and I don't think anyone can love Cadillac like the Auburn fan base and Auburn family loves Cadillac Williams.
Well, hopefully the Auburn family loves Colin Beiersdorf as much as we do. So, Colin, let everybody know where they can find you. Love you, support you.
Yeah, just follow my Twitter at Beiersdorf Colin. It's BEYERSDORF Colin.
Colin, 1L. 1L, Colin. I was going to put that one.
Daniel, you're up.
You can find me on Twitter at Daniel J. Locke. My written work for the Auburn Wire and maybe another outlet coming up soon. There
you go. I'm Harrison Tarr. Everybody, Harrison Tarr on the Bird app. If you are not already subscribed and have not rung the bell yet for the College Loop, what are you waiting on? This is your sign. We got 300 subs. You guys are freaking awesome. We appreciate the hell out of every single one of our listeners. You guys are family to us, and I mean that sincerely, especially those of you guys who have been there from the jump. Cannot appreciate you guys enough. Love all of you, though. Our new listeners, welcome aboard. Super, super excited to have you guys here. I think we're going to have a handful of new ones of you guys here in the next couple of days. Very, very excited to welcome a whole new community. That's as much as we can say right now, but we've got some super, super exciting news that we will hard launch on the Thursday show. I'm going to be on the Thursday show, so I'm very, very excited to be a part of that. And that's all I got, Dylan. Get us out of here, man.
And since I'll be on the Thursday show, remind y'all, Thursday show is going to be Theoretical Thursday. So if y'all have any cool little theoretical things you want us to talk about, let us know in the comments or leave some questions, and we'll be glad to answer them. Gregorio is stealing everyone's thunder, because if you're not being like Gregorio, what are you doing? So you should go ahead and like, subscribe, go ahead and comment, and click the link or not the link. I keep saying the link. Go ahead and go to my Twitter, at YouBoyTheTank on Twitter, that is. And it's just right there. It's right there. You can just at YouBoyTheTank, at YABOI the Tank. And if you want to follow College Loop literally everywhere, you got us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and on TikTok too, where you're going to see Daniel do a little dance at some point very soon.
That's on my to-do list for tomorrow.
There it is. And if you want to listen to us, of course, you guys on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music. And with all that being said, Colin, go ahead and get it ready. This has been the College Loop Podcast.